Welcome to the
What?
top marketing tools to get people to trust you. Even the title kind of makes me laugh because it's getting people to trust you. Even that sounds like it's a little conniving. But what we're really talking about today is how to generate credibility, how to have people actually think that you can do what you say you can do. So this is from Small Business Solver, and my name's Carla. And we're going to jump right into this. And why is this so important? And the number one reason why it's very important is that every single sale is emotional. So we always think, oh, it's logical. They compared everything. The customer, be it business to business or business to consumer, so B2C or B2B, we think that people are just doing it because it's logical. That's simply not true. Every single sale is emotional. So we have to think about emotions when we're trying to generate that trust or that credibility. If you forget that every sale is emotional, you will lose the sale. Let's look at some examples. Number one, buying a snack, very, very emotional. Why do you think they have they have those little jingles and they have all that flashy marketing that goes with them? It's emotional. I want that. Next thing, a t-shirt. How many times does a t-shirt actually say something about the person who's wearing it? It's very, very emotional. It could be, especially if you're traveling and you see a t-shirt in the place that's going to make you remember it. That's not a logical purchase. That's an emotional purchase. You might never wear that t-shirt again. And of course, even a house. So even a bigger purchase, which is why I said business to business or business to consumer, it really doesn't matter who you are or what you're buying. It's still an emotional sale. So we need to think through that. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about trust. And really, what is trust? We're going to talk about the 3 tenets of a sale. So what are the emotional parts that get someone from not knowing about you at all and then giving you $20 for something? We're going to walk through some of the credibility tools that are out there, and we're going to talk about how to keep trust and the importance of that. So trust. Just understanding trust in general, there's 2 different types of trust. There's sensible trust and there's sensitive trust. Sensible trust is the trust that you have from a long-term relationship. It could be with your parent, it could be with your best friend, it could be with your significant other, it could be with your dog. They've proven time and time again that you can in fact trust them. So that's sensible. It's very sensible that you trust them. But in marketing, we don't know our customers maybe for the last 15 years. We might have just met them. They might have just heard about us. In fact, very often they have just heard about us when they just got a little bit interested and they want to learn more. And so now that they know about us, our job is to show that we're credible and build that trust. Now, this is not sensible. This is not sensible at all. This is sensitive. And the sensitive trusts there's lots of different ways that you can actually demonstrate that you're credible, that someone should trust you, even though they haven't known you for the last 20 years. And that's really what this webinar is all about, is how to develop that sensitive trust quickly. So why is trust so important in a sale? Well, really, there's 3 reasons why people buy from you, and trust is a big part of that. People buy from you because they find out about you, so they know about you. Then they trust you. And finally, they like you. And it's those 3 things that create your first sale, because sales are emotional, but it also allows you to continue to having sales thereafter. So people only buy from people that they know about, that they trust, and that they like. And when you go through that funnel, so that's really a sales funnel by itself, that's when you land your sale. And so marketing is what generates sales for many business to consumers, and marketing is a great way to build that trust. Remember, that sensitive trust. So in Small Business Solver, we have a really cool tool that's called the Marketing Solver. If you went up to the business checkup, you could drop down and find out the marketing tools in there. And that's actually what we're going to go looking at right now, is we're going to go through some of the marketing tools that specifically generate credibility for you. And we want to give you some quick tips right away. And there's some credibility tools that you literally could do today, and they're not going to cost you a lot. And so I just wanted to run through these really quickly, and then we're going to talk about some of the bigger impact ones later on. I mean, credibility in a flash is what we're calling this. And number one, it's business cards. I mean, if you have a business card, all of a sudden it goes from 0 to hero. You show up with a business card and someone thinks, oh my goodness, this person really has a business. And you can be creative with it. You can actually spend more money or less money. But you know what? In the end, it really doesn't matter. It's just even having that card. It's not only the fact that you've given someone the card and they can continue to hold on to it. The other side of things is that you actually have a boost in confidence. When you pull out that card, especially it's like squeaky, newly off the press, you can hand it over. You know what? You're going to feel good about it too. The second thing that you should really do as soon as this webinar is over is you should change your voicemail. Your voicemail, if someone is actually going to reach out to you and they get your voicemail, it is definitely a first impression. And so first off, of course, you would prefer them not to even reach your voicemail. You should probably pick up your phone. But if they reach your voicemail, what does it say about you? I can't tell you how many small business owners I've got into their voicemail and I hear noise in the background. They get a little confused. They're saying things that they're mumbling a little bit maybe. And so a voicemail, what does it say about you? And changing it ASAP is important. Credibility in a flash. Next one is going to be web presence. A lot of small business owners think that means they need to have a website right away. That's not what I'm saying. It's any web presence adds to your credibility. I've got in business through my LinkedIn web presence. I've got in business through my Twitter web presence. I've got it through a blog. It doesn't just have to be a website, but having a web presence. And a really not so secret one anymore, but one that's very important is Google Maps. So if you do anything, and again, you could do this today, is register your business on Google under the business part that's on the bottom left-hand side. You register your business, and guess what? When you're Googling for pizza, when you're searching for a graphic designer, it's actually going to be based on Google Maps. It's very, very highly rated. And even if we don't actually know that we're doing this, we automatically have sensitive trust to someone who is ranked higher. So web presence, especially with search engine optimization, is proven that you appear more credible the higher that you're ranked. The next one, referrals and testimonials. That's credibility in a flash, being able to tell stories about, oh, with this customer, you sound similar to when we worked with this customer and this happened. Or having someone, instead of you saying it, having it from the horse's mouth. This one's a tricky one. Sometimes we think, you know, contracts and invoices, how does that add credibility? Well, the fact that you have a standard template, maybe the fact that you have your logo on it and it looks a little bit more formalized, that makes people trust you. If all of a sudden you actually get, I don't know, an invoice that's written up, well, that's not very credible. That's not going to make me trust you. Certifications and anything that adds to maybe your education behind that, you could demonstrate. A lot of times you go into a law office, you go into an accountant's office, first thing you see is the fact that they have their degree. So they hang that up. And that's just a way of visualizing the fact that you can trust them. Other ways to look bigger than you are, a P.O. box, especially if you're working from your home office, and of course a 1-800 number. So some neat things that you could consider for credibility in a flash. So now we're jumping into some of the bigger ones. So this might not be something that you can do today, you could do tomorrow, but it's something that should be on your radar, especially if this is a part where you're finding that people aren't believing that you can do what you say you can do. You really want to ramp up on some of these marketing tools. So the first one we're looking at is media. Media is huge. People don't believe ads as much as they believe media. So if you're having a trust issue or a credibility issue, putting out more ads isn't necessarily going to actually hit a home run for you, but getting in the media, being interviewed definitely is going to help you. So how do you do that? You can send out press releases, you can reach out to people. You might be shocked who you already know, or who your neighbors, brothers, boyfriend knows. So the next one here is online ratings. I mean, we already talked about Google Maps, but the ratings as well. You have Yelp, you have lots of different ways that people can actually, on Google, people can give you stars. So making sure that you actually get your ratings up, because of course, people do look at that. And so if you only have one review and it's by yourself, well, that's not going to be as credible as someone who has 20 reviews by multiple people throughout the entire area. So you can think on your marketing. If you have a customer, you could ask them, hey, you could do this. I've actually seen small businesses where they say, hey, if you actually like us or give us a rating, no matter what it is, you actually get 10% off next time you come in. So there's some creative ways in your marketing that you could do this. Presentations. Presentations, all of a sudden, no matter what it is, makes you look more credible. So you are at the front. And I've seen many people that they won't even go to events unless they are speaking in some way, because events take time. So are you doing a demonstration? Are you doing a lunch and learn within a corporate office? Are you a keynote at an event? Are you at a convention? Are you running a seminar? And even just being on a panel, just, you know, add that little step up. You are on the panel. So anytime that you can do a presentation to get more awareness, it's a bonus. And a lot of small businesses, we create our own events and then try and put ourselves on the stage. The best part is when it's someone else's event and we just have to show up, and it's instant marketing and credibility. So we talked about the voicemail, but we could go even a step further. This is a step up. Could you actually have a virtual assistant or an answering service that you actually have in place? Or are you actually getting one of the telecom services that actually make you look bigger than you are? So these are all things to consider, and it's not as expensive as you might think it is. Brochures. So again, this is a little bit more expensive. It's going to be often you have to buy it in bulk, and often our customers are always worried that they're just throwing it away. And yet at the same time, if you're doing business to business sales, or if you're doing larger sales, let's say $1,000 or up, you might want to consider a brochure, because it's something to like they can hold on to. It's something that's concrete, and it does demonstrate that you are in business. The online store. This is something that goes just from minimal presence to actually going a little bit further. And especially in some of these online stores, your ranking will depend on how people are rating you and what your traction are. So there's lots of online stores that all of a sudden give you this frontage, this presence, lends that credibility because your merchant services are being handled well. And there's eBay, Yahoo, Etsy. And if you're doing business to business, Alibaba is a great one to be looking at too. Next one is to respond to blogs and letter to the editor. So I talked about presentations. I said, don't run your own events and stand up on stage. You want to actually go to other people's events. Well, this is similar. Writing your own blogs is great. Writing your own articles is great, but actually responding to other people gets you a lot more awareness. It's a lot bigger audience. You don't have to generate and work so hard on that yourself. You're just plugging into what's already there. And especially if that's your subject and that's your expertise, that's where you lean into that subject, and all of a sudden you look instantly credible. Awards. So if you win anything, it doesn't matter what it is. You hang it up in your office. You can post it on Instagram or whatever social media you're using, and make sure that people know about it. So you can think about every time you've walked into a restaurant and they have been, you know, restaurant of the year in 2017, even in 2009, and it's still hanging up there. So shout it to the rooftop. Online portfolio. So we talked about web presence before, but really be thinking about what are the components that future clients might actually ask about me, and save it and document it. Have it available either as a PDF or actually post it in some way. And there's lots of things that you could consider to put in your portfolio that's going to make you look a lot more credible. So your own biography, your staffing biography, the history of your company and how you came about, any stories or testimonials or case studies that you've been through, your press releases, reprints of articles about your business, recordings of your presentations or your YouTube, lists of client references and all their testimonials, reprints of the articles and ads, even documenting your newsletters that you've had so that people can read the past ones. List of services and your FAQs to really show that you know your stuff. Any frequently asked questions, even in a sector or industry, that again raises you above the bar. And even a headshot so people can see who you are, just having all of this documented into a portfolio that people can see. And finally, networking. This really is the most impactful one. So I said that some people don't even go to networking events unless there's a speaker. That's obviously ideal. But when you are showing up to a networking event, it's credible because you're there. Make sure that you are dressed professionally. Make sure that you have brushed your hair. Make sure you are having a firm handshake, making eye contact, have your business cards, and just being present and forming that relationship all in one allows people to know about you. They will trust you because you are face to face with them. And of course, I'm sure that they will start liking you, which is the 3 tenets of the sale. So the last piece, but now we've really used marketing and all the marketing tactics to be worried about building trust. How do we keep it? And the most important thing to know is that if you ever lose trust, so not doing what you say you're going to do, it takes 7 more instances of actually fulfilling on what you said in order to build back your trust. So you definitely don't want to be losing it. So the way that you do it is you're consistent, you under-promise, and you over-deliver. And if anything ever goes wrong, you pick up the phone or you have the face-to-face to tell the bad news to your customer first. You don't want them finding out from someone else, and you definitely don't want to send it by an email. And once you do that, you really want to do everything in your power in order to earn their trust back immediately. So again, you're going to under-promise and over-deliver. You're going to make sure, you know what, you didn't like your food? Well, that meal is free. And here's 10% off the next time that you come back, and let's over excel the next time that you're back in. So as soon as trust is lost, is actually an opportunity to build a loyal customer. So don't just give up and say it's gone. I mean, we want to make sure that doesn't happen in the beginning, but if it does happen, it's actually an opportunity to get them to like you. So that's how we move from credibility into likability as well. So we've covered quite a bit, understanding that there's sensible and sensitive trust. We talked about people only buy from people they know about, they trust, and they like. We walked through a bunch of credibility tools and really wrapped it up with the importance of keeping trust. And if something does go wrong, how to make sure that it's okay. And remember, on Small Business Solver, you guys can go into the business checkup and look at all the different marketing tools that are in there to see if there's more that are going to help you build your credibility. So that is the end of the top marketing tools to get people to trust you.